Is Sean Kirkpatrick just going through the motions? Does AARO have a reason to exist? What exactly is going on there? Well, there's some troubling information coming out from the whistleblower, so let's talk about it. Get in here, this is Jack with Cosmic Road. I talk about UFOs and the paranormal. Please hit like, please subscribe, share on social media, and let me know what you think in the comments below. Okay, this is some information coming from the Good Trouble Show. Let's see what Matt and his guest have to say.
I would say that overall, the interactions that I've been privy to with the AARO office by some of these whistleblowers, it's not been good. And I think the statement by Dr. Sean Kirkpatrick during the Senate thing really deflated and had a net negative effect on whistleblowers. So, if you think about it, so these guys, like I said, there's no incentive for them to go do this. Not like they're getting paid to show up or talk on have a phone call with these guys. And for them to go through and have their interview sort of in a way be blown off by what Kirkpatrick seemed to, or what he said about there's no credible evidence. I don't have the exact quote of anything extraterrestrial. It really deflated these guys. And I know that there are some that it's dissuaded them, people that have data to share, it's dissuaded them from coming forward. Because I'm sure, in their shoes, it'd be like, well, what's the point?
Yeah.
There's one particular whistleblower that I had a very long debriefing with, and this whistleblower, he felt that they weren't prepared. They didn't ask questions to sort of verify, like, well, who was the base commander or things like that. And the sense from this whistleblower was that they were just kind of going through the motions, gathering his testimony just because, they were required to. There was just this person felt a general lack of genuine interest, and this person was ready to offer up more information and said, "You want to know about this?" And they would say, "No," and then they.
Yeah, so that goes along with what Robert Solis was saying in the audio recording that he released of his interview with AARO, where he was giving them really great information, and he was asking them things like, well, are you going to follow up on this with the Air Force? And they were like, nah, basically. And then, we've asked the Air Force for stuff before, and they haven't really given us anything. They didn't seem really interested in getting to the truth of that particular event. That was the famous Malmstrom nuclear silo event where UFOs shut off nuclear weapons. It's kind of a big deal, right? And AARO was just kind of going through the motions, just like he's saying. What is the point of AARO? I mean, what is the point of AARO? They're calling it now a clearinghouse for sightings, and they just refer these to the various agencies that are responsible for those particular sightings. If it's a Russian drone, it goes to the Russian drone people. If it's a Chinese balloon, it goes to the Chinese balloon people. If it's ET, it goes to NASA. Yeah, if they ever, first of all, they haven't found anything credible that it could possibly be ET. And if they ever do, it'll go to NASA, who has been hiding this stuff forever. So what is the point of AARO? AARO is just a place for sightings to go to die at the moment. Sean Kirkpatrick has said that the goal of AARO is for AARO not to exist. So AARO was founded, I firmly believe, as a sincere effort to probe the mystery of UFOs. and get some data and some information and begin to investigate this and to reveal this to the public. I firmly believe that the people responsible for creating AARO were sincere, but it has been subverted by the powers that be, whether that's the control group or the Collins elite or whoever is doing this and suppressing this information. And it has been subverted by these people to continue the cover-up, which is so disheartening. And, Jeremy Corbell also talks about that. Let's see what Jeremy has to say.
Just think about it. AARO has had over 24 people come and tell them where the hardware is. I know that is a fact because these people came to me first. I know that they're going through these classified projects, and to hear nothing about that in the hearings, it was very discouraging to the people that worked on these exploitation programs, know the program names, know where the hardware is at. I have hope that that's going to come out, but I will tell you this, and this is really exciting. I am directly involved with making sure that the public gets to hear directly from these individuals in open hearings. I am absolutely 100% working on that behind the scenes with people in Congress, in Senate. It's going to be really interesting if we can achieve this goal of having this out of the classified forum and into the public setting. And I am highly optimistic and encouraged that that is going to happen. I can't put a date on it, but I can tell you I've talked with all of these people, and it is in process, and people are pumped to basically get this information.
Yeah, bring it, Jeremy. He goes on to say, I think there's a variety of kind of exposure to these programs of these people that have come forward to AARO, because I know about some people that just looked in the door that just saw some of it. Then I know some people that monitored as what they call a red hat, which is somebody that monitors to try to make sure there's no leaks in the program. So some level of the UFO crash retrieval program and reverse engineering program, there's people that monitor it to make sure there's no leaks. And some of these people might be coming forward. And this is something that I've talked about before. The whistleblowers that might come forward probably aren't going to be like in the deep level stuff. They're going to be more on the periphery, like these monitors. So I think that's really, that's what I would have expected to see. But I am hoping that we'll get some actual scientists and people that have actually worked on the craft, and with some, and if they could bring some physical material, that would be amazing. Go back to what he was saying, were the whistleblowers that have come forward to AARO, they know where the hardware is. And they've told Sean Kirkpatrick and AARO that. That was the very first thing that he said.
Just think about it. AARO has had over 24 people come and tell them where the hardware is. I know that is a fact because these people...
Okay, so AARO knows where the hardware is. They know where the ships are, the pieces of ships, whatever the heck they're working on. AARO knows where this stuff is. Why don't we? Why didn't they talk about this during the hearing, right? It's crazy. So, and let's see, here we go. Corbell goes on to say, a lot of the witnesses called me after the Kirkpatrick hearing, and they were like, what the F? They were like, what is Kirkpatrick talking about? We told him program names, what we worked on. They were angry. The information is astounding when you hear about what we have, the actual full craft, what we've been trying to do to reverse engineer these. So, yeah, so Kirkpatrick knows the names of the programs. He knows where the hardware is. Presumably, that means Congress knows. They did not ask him any of those questions. And when he said there was no credible evidence of ET activity, they didn't push back on that at all, right? Ernst Gillibrand, Ernst was saying, oh, well, it's probably Chinese drones and Russian drones. And Kirkpatrick was like, yeah, so it's probably Chinese and Russian drones. So, what exactly is going on? It really appears that Tim Burchett was correct and that members of Congress have been compromised on the UFO/UAP issue. Jeremy Corbell goes on to say, "We don't know what was said in those meetings, behind closed-door briefings AARO had with whistleblowers. Well, I know some of what was said because I talked with some of the people that did those briefings for our government, but the public isn't told. These are done in a classified setting, so all we know is that we have a couple dozen people that have come forward. But the messaging is really interesting." So the messaging from Kirkpatrick is like, we're looking into this. We might build a website that people could like report into, but they're not like definitely stating what it is they, AARO, have been told and how they're following up on it. So it's not time yet, I think, for the global public to really embrace it because there's not a lot of information. It's still in these classified realms. I might know a little bit more than the average Joe because this is my passion in what I do. And it is astounding. The information is astounding when you hear about what we have, the actual full craft, what we've been trying to do to reverse engineer these. But it's just not part of the public dialogue yet because that information hasn't been put forward. But the public is insatiable when it comes to the UFO topic. I mean, man, I get calls to do a news report every couple of days, and I try not to do many of them because there's not a lot more to say. But I think that is changing now. So, with or without our government's help of exposing this information, journalists and documentary filmmakers, friends of mine too, who are doing documentaries on this, they will be exposing this information. And, you know, he's probably referring to James Fox and possibly others. I can't wait to see what they come up with. He says, I don't know. I don't think we've hit the tipping point to really make everybody go, holy S, now I understand. Yeah, I hope we do get to that tipping point. But I don't know if that's going to happen this year, like a lot of people are saying it will. You know, John Ramirez and others are saying that 2023 could be the tipping point. And, you know, it's early in the year yet. It may yet. Well, let's keep our fingers crossed and hopefully something juicy will come out. We still have Lou Elizondo's book to look forward to. And, you know, you can't discount the possibility that that could be huge. That could be gangbusters, and it could be part of some other stuff. It could be like a concerted effort on the pro-disclosure faction to reveal a bunch of stuff around that time to really hammer this home. Or alternately, they could not want to overwhelm that book and crowd it with other stuff. But, you know, in the months surrounding it, you know, giving it a little room, they could drop some big stuff. So, yeah, time will tell. Time will tell, but it is about halfway through the year. So, not yet, but it's getting there. So, if 2023 is to be this huge year, well, we only have, you know, a little less or a little more than half the year left. So, it needs to start happening. Fingers crossed. I don't know what to expect, but I will be disappointed if the conversation is not moved forward somewhat this year. Again, I'm not really expecting anything huge, but I am hoping to at least further the conversation in the public interest in the subject. And I think it is very likely that some of that is going to happen. Will it compel Sean Kirkpatrick and AARO to change their tactics and the way they do things and actually be forthcoming and honest with the American people? Time will tell. Sean Kirkpatrick may be leaving AARO in the not too distant future. Will he be replaced by somebody that's more pro-disclosure friendly? Surely the next person will be of the same ilk and under the same sort of pressure or influence as Sean Kirkpatrick is, but maybe not. What do you guys think? Will AARO reform? Will it become the vision of disclosure and investigation that it was originally meant to be? Will it be transparent with the American people? Will 2023, this big year that's supposed to happen, have some sort of effect on AARO that will indeed compel it to become that shining example of ufology and to the world, transparency on the phenomenon to the world? Could that happen or begin to happen in 2023? My hopes aren't too high, but I am hopeful that at least from the civilian sector and from what whistleblowers are allowed to come forward, that something will happen. So fingers crossed, guys. Let me know what you think in the comments below. And if you've enjoyed this video, please give it a big thumbs up. I sure would appreciate it. Smash the subscribe button and the bell to be notified of future videos. You don't want to miss a thing. Join me on social media. There's Facebook and Twitter links below. I would love to see you guys there. And if you would share this video when it drops on social media, that'd be super helpful. Until next time, there's plenty of other videos for you to check out. Have a great Memorial Day, and I'll see you next time. This is Jack with Cosmic Road, signing out.